So, recently I asked myself this question, and that question is with all the recent new guns coming out, is the most revered weapon back in the day, the AK Alpha, still the most still a good weapon. So, that's what I'm deciding to do today. So, we have an AK Alpha here with one drum mag full of 7.62 by 39, and we have one full of AP. This is a pretty standard loadout. Angled foregrip, laser, suppressor, this for distance, and we're just gonna go into a couple of rates, and we'll see if this gun still holds up in accordance with all the new weapons that are out now. So with that being said, let's go to the White Mall, and let's yeah, I will see you guys in raid. So right out the gate, I think, just by proxy, just to be honest, I think by proxy of 762 by 39 being 762 by 39, it does kind of make it slightly weaker than basically most of the other weapons that we're talking about, especially considering like nowadays the best weapons are typically in 6.8 or 762 by 50. So I'm pretty sure the current event is that these are all Phoenix guards. So yeah, as you can see, this guy has a 6B102, so it's no surprise that it's taking a little bit of effort to take it down. I guess the real answer should be, is it technically still would it still be considered good in PvP? I mean PvE, but 6B102 is a pretty decent armor for what it is, so I guess you can kind of base it off of that. Although also not really, since, well, it's 762 it's not 762 by 39, it's PvE. But once again, they typically wear about these kinds of armor, the people that you meet, so you just have to wait and see. Now, one thing that I will say about the AK Alpha, I think it is, to be honest, if you wanted me to give my serious input, it is just the AK-74 or whichever it is. If you were to give it more customization, I think that's why it was probably like that was probably the saving grace back in the day, cause back then the AK-47 was probably one of the better weapons around, and you would just bring that, and then you just win at life. But it still appears pretty common, and as you can see, it's kind of lacking, but then again, that was the standard ammo. It's not very good at penetrating rounds. It was, I believe, at one point when I was like scrolling through the Tabor Discord, someone called it a pea shooter. Also, what's up, old son? And I guess there's some form of ring of truth to it, because you're not gonna be bringing standard every single time, right? And can you imagine that, but with can you imagine what interactions would go like if you were to do that, and then you had fought against someone with a 6B43? You'd be pretty fucked. There's no sugarcoating it. So I will say that it is not the weakest level 5 weapon, but it is. But I think the just from this, it does seem to kind of hint at the fact that it was power prep by 762 by 51. First off, it was the FN FAL, which by the way was a level was a level 3 gun, and then eventually or not the FAL, the G383, and then the FAL, which became like the new complete meta. And the only reason why this is technically better is because it comes with a drum mag, and the FAL has 30 round mags, case closed, you know. But then again, you could just bring more mags instead of having one single mag at any point in time, because it's unlikely that you're gonna ever be in a position where you need to, you know, constantly reload. What I'm more interested about is how this gun interacts with bosses. I don't think the current event permits. The current event is doing bosses guaranteed spawn on every single on every single map anymore, but I guess we can try our luck. I mean, Tartra is probably here. Okay, so at the very least, the saving grace is that AP still obviously works, but isn't that really more indicative of AP's power than the gun just being what it is? I really do like the how the gun looks, but as it currently stands, I think if you are playing for meta, which is not the case in PvE, this gun has kind of been power crapped by most of the other guns. I mean, 7.62x51, right? You got the FN FAL, you got the M240B, you got the G383. If you don't mind not having a little bit of recoil. Really, at the end of the day, you know, it's I don't mean to thrash this weapon completely, but the truth is that it is a bit of a shame that this gun back in the day, it was like pretty much like if you brought it in with you, you'd win in life. And then it kind of started going downhill with the bar, because the bar was 30-06 and that shit was just OP as fuck. I even remember like watching Stacks play the game once upon a time, and one of his teammates got killed by someone with 30-06 freaking AP ammo, which is crazy to think about, honestly. Because as far as I know, no other guns really come in 30-06 to be honest. Alright, so well, at least there's one saving grace about coming here and is that we get free AK magazines, I guess. But what to say about it? I mean, it's very aesthetically pleasing. I bet I've already said that before. I think that like back when it was you know, it was one of the better guns in the game. You know, everyone was seeking after it, and at the point in time, once again, it was a relatively good weapon for what it was. But once again, you know, power creep is a pretty big bitch. It all started with the bar, and then, you know, slowly but surely the gun kind of started to fall off just because the bullet is 7.62x39, and 7.62x39 is a good early game bullet, sure, but it does not at all hold up once you reach end game, especially in PvE. PvP, sorry, when everyone starts running basically just like, you know, 6B43s or collector gear, stuff like that. You're not gonna outgun them with this. They're gonna outgun you with a FN FAL, which, you know, it's pretty crazy to think that at one point in time the FN FAL was like a Spectre 3 weapon, and then they realized it was too OP, so they turned it into Spectre 5. You know, just a little food for thought, you know. I think it's definitely interesting. Its history and the Faust history, but I don't think the foul is worth a video. Mostly because I mean, it's pretty much the meta gun, right? So what's there to talk about it? But this is an AK Alpha video. You know, AKs typically are portrayed as the better gun, right? Cause you know you got your Counter Strikes, you got like your Valorant, crazy enough. Really called that in game. It's called like what, the Vandal? Close enough, I guess. You know, these guns typically tend to have a one-shot headshot, and I guess there's some sort of ring of truth to this. But you know, as per all games, you know, headshots are good and mouse accuracy is great, but it does not translate to real life shooting in the slightest. And at the end of the day, the general rule for games, the general rule is center mass. You know, cops are taught center mass. You know, cops are taught center mass. Everyone's taught center mass when they're learning guns, because it's just way easier to hit center mass, and especially in video games where well, okay, maybe it's a little bit easier because in these games you typically it's guns are lighter because you're only carrying VR controllers, but you know, it's not once again, it's not always that easy. Certain weapons have gun sway. You know, it's pretty telling that in a certain game that I will not mention, AKs don't really have a place in the meta as far as I remember the last time. Everyone always used the M4s over the AK-12 in that game. And I think mainly because maybe the gun just straight up didn't feel too good. I mean, that's a really bold fucking statement, since technically that gun has some of the best gunplay imaginable. I'm not proud in the entire industry, but hey, you know what? It's no credit to the CEO of the game. It's all credit to the guys he actually hired. Such a shame, really. If they were hired by any other game, they would do marginally better. So I think, you know, as per with you can see how much I struggled initially with killing Phoenixes with just regular shots. So I think if you want to use the AK Alpha, or hell, even the AK in general, you should be going for headshots by technicality. That, you know, the gun's pretty much dog poo otherwise. You look at that, like I gotten three headshots point blank. That honestly, like, it may not seem like much, but unfortunately this gun just requires a lot more bullets to kill other people. Whereas if you were to take a FAL or a G3 or hell even a bar, you'd be doing better if you can hit those headshots. So once again, power creep, right? It's not the gun's fault. It's just a product of its time. is what I'm trying to say. But hey, if you bring it into this wipe, you'll be doing pretty good because the ammunition for the gun is everywhere. So technically you could go forever if you wanted, or well, at least until the rate timer runs up anyways. One of the biggest challenges that I had with this mall in general was running running against all these phoenixes, shooting them with with the M240B, which was chambered in 7.62 by 51. It would one-shot them, and then it would pretty much garner me like 60 kills from 200 magazines. But when it came down to it, at the end of the day, I still had to exfil once all my bullets gone, because I wasn't able to refill them just by picking up magazines here and there, you know. But 7.62 by 39 is a relatively common round. So as far as rounds go, so I mean, especially in this mall wipe. I mean, I'm having fun. The amount of times that I've had to lug around like 80 kilograms worth of items and constantly struggling because turns out I actually killed Tartra, Tuatara, or whatever his name is, or Nikolai, and then I have to lug around their stuff that I kill. It made it very, very difficult, but with this I can you know, it's like the two magazines that when I bring in wasn't that much, you know. I can, and the bullets went by fast. Probably because I couldn't actually kill them, but once again, you know, this is more of a headshot weapon, or at least that's the impression that I got after, you know, basically wasting my entire drum mag on a couple phoenixes at the start of the raid. Don't get me wrong, this gun is no spray and pray, unfortunately. I hate to say it, but that's just how it is. It does come with a lot of customizable rails though, and that is a pretty big upside. Some people, I personally typically am not comfortable with the rail being like this side, because sometimes aiming gets a little wonky when you hold it like that. So I'm very, very grateful for being able to do this, because it just goes down completely. So that's like a huge plus for me. But then again, you could just do this onto the scope part, and then you'd be fine, because you can just point fire anyways with the laser. Because unfortunately, as it currently stands, my aim is currently better point firing than, you know, actually ADSing. I think ADSing is probably only beneficial for me if I actually, you know, have to do long distance fights, which it seems to be. So what would I recommend this weapon? I would say probably silo, because running silo, you get close quarters. You can probably the gun length isn't that much. It's definitely no G3A3 or anything of that sort. So you can kind of take shorter range duels, instead of which you typically would try to take with an MDR or something, at the very least. And I would say that in general, you know, it's just unfortunately a little power crap. But what we're gonna do is we're going to take all of this and we're going to run to another map. I don't know if the wipe event has dictated so that all of the other maps have returned to normal, but I'm pretty sure that that's gonna be the case. So we're gonna go back to those maps and we'll go and see how it fares. And yeah, I will see you all in the next one. So damned if I do, damned if I don't, right? I said that one of the best probable maps for this is It's Silo, so I can't backtrack now. I gotta prove it. So why do I say Silo is probably better? Well, it's close range, so you're more likely to hit people. The amount of people that you meet here is lower. Oh, it looks like the Phoenixes have largely returned to normal here. For PvE specific, I guess most of the bosses, I guess most of the maps have returned to normal. PvE is close range, so if you just so happen to be in the position to be fighting you know, players, you're close quarters, you can shoot them better. And I mean, technically this is like the OG, right? Back then, the quote unquote meta back in like pre-alpha was to run like the 762 by 39, which at the time meant it meant run the SKS full auto or the or just an AK. But I will say that well, I don't even know if the alpha existed back then. But you know, back in my day, the AK alpha was a sign of status and wealth. Now it's a shadow of its former self. But to be honest, I still honestly think that if you're gonna run Silo, you should probably run a it would probably be better if you just ran, you know, a shotgun, because shotguns are just technically the no-brainer choice here, right? Alright, so we may have Kurtek here. He's downstairs, okay. So, how can you tell Kurtek is here? Those Phoenixes weren't there, which means that, and typically, so, okay, so I guess I need to explain it a little bit. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know this by now. Typically, there are two Phoenixes that spawn here, and if they are here, that means that there's no Kurtek on the map, or no boss on the map. Because these two Phoenixes cannot spawn here if there's a boss either in this room, which is where Kurtek can spawn, or downstairs in the underground. So I guess and since Kurtek's not here, then he's in the underground. It's just, you know, so a little basic logic, I guess, but that's just how the spawn logic works in general. If you just remember this simple tactic, then you can just basically really early recognize if Kurtek's on the map and prepare yourself for it. So one of the things that fuck, what was I gonna say? One of the things that recently happened was that with this update, they gave all the Phoenix bosses you know, voice lines, and I'm not saying that they're bad. It's just that I think they have a little bit of an audio issue, because sometimes I hear him speaking and it's way too loud, but most of the time I just kill him before I even get a chance to hear it. So unless I'm in a position where I'm being hunted by Kurtek with nowhere to run, you know, it's unlikely I'll ever hear the voice lines. But I will say it's still cool that they added it anyways. The problem kind of lies in the fact that well, I'm very happy they did this, by the way. They made it more dangerous because they now allow him the full auto, his rightfully full auto SKS, which you know, it only technically makes the game better, because honestly, like Kurtek was kind of a joke. The only reason why Kurtek wasn't the weakest boss in the game was because fish cultists arguably are even weaker. So that's really Kurtek's saving grace. But now that he can full auto you, he's become significantly more dangerous, and that's a good thing. Because he can very easily kill you now. Although if you ask me, you should just toss him grenades to fuck him up, and then you'll be good to go basically. So yeah, it's just I don't know if I've personally never went back to Matka because well, it's kind of redundant, honestly. Like, I already have enough collector gear, and the thing about all my gear is that I'm kind of stingy. So I have all this collector gear and Tatra gear and Nikolai gear, and I've never used a single one of them. I've always swung with the 6B43 because I don't know why. It's like I have the most of it in abundance, so I really have no excuse to not use the collector Tatra or whatever. Speaking of which, neither here nor there, but I heard that Nikolai's gear is about the same as about the same as yeah, Nikolai's gear is the same as Tatra. I think they said, and they also said that Tartra's gear, which rightfully so is more powerful than is better than it's more powerful than collectors. So technically we have a protection grade like what, 7 now, and it belongs to Tatra. All right, let's do this. Is he here? I'm just gonna guess yes. Yep. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like you kill him too fast if you know what you're doing. That it comes to a point where if you're serious about him, it won't come to a point where you're where you're concerned that you're gonna ever hear his voice lines. Also, I don't want any of this. But I think just because this gun has high rate of fire, if you combine it with AP, you can technically kill Kurtek with anything, but that's really all it's gonna be for this. It still holds up with bosses, and I guess that's what matters, even though I've been a negative Nancy the entire video. I lied! No, it's just that I came to the realization that, damn, like I want to talk about being good at killing bosses when I didn't even actually attempt to kill collector. Like that don't sit right, you know. That don't sit right with me. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to kill collector, and it doesn't really matter how it turns out, because it's just gonna be what it is anyways. I also the video was too short. So obviously Kurtek wasn't that big of a What is Matka still under a boss rush, or what's going on? You shooting me through Among Us? Failed. No, they're still wearing terrible armor. Did I just get a spawn of like a lot of people for like absolutely no reason? So I found out this thing actually only has 75 bullets. Wow. So, alright, back before I lost my train of thought, as I was saying, I felt it only fair to you know, we didn't get Tartra and Nikolai, but it's not like they would have been that difficult anyways. To be honest, like at least when I was fighting them with the M240B, they weren't that difficult. But the thing is that this is a completely different story entirely, and I've actually lost an AK Alpha early into raid once upon a time because of this guy. So I guess I have a vendetta against him, and that's why I want to do this. Oh well, we can finally use the magnifier scope for once. This is one of my favorite places to go through the game. Or well, we can do that once we. Actually deal with this, I guess. Hope the phone. Wow, I got almost fucked over by this invisible corner over here. Look at that. Need a little glow up on those invisible walls, CWS. I'm just joking. I'm what they call a hardcore glazer. Is that what the term is? And I will I will never shit on CWS. That's what the glazers do, right? No, but I do recognize that sometimes things are just not okay, and so what I would do is typically I would hop up here and well, kill that guy apparently, but he's apparently decided to come over here apparently. It looks like the phoenixes are scattered. I'm not sure what that means, but I hope they still are doing guaranteed spawns in here. Did I really not get? Did I just get lucky with Did I just get lucky meeting Phoenix, or is he actually still here? Well, there's no telling. AK-5C. Well, this is in 5.56, so I can't really say anything about it. It's a pretty good gun, but at that point, it's probably better to just use an MDR anyways. I don't think we have collector, or if we do, well, apparently the spawn logic's so fucked that the spawn logic has changed. Yeah, I don't think we got him, which is a bit of a shame. I think, okay, so since under the assumption that we didn't get him, right? What? I do not like that.
X kurwa X2.
So assuming we didn't get him, which now I'm not so sure anymore after all the steps that I heard. Oh, he's still here. Make no mistake, he is here. All right. So what do I have to say about this guy then? Obviously he's a lot more dangerous than Kurtek because he's actually shooting 6.8, which can very, very quickly end my life. So I need to kill him first, honestly. I think I'll do that from up here. Is that him? Yes. Why am I bleeding? Okay. Alright, see, that wasn't so bad, was it? But honestly, as long as you don't let collector get a hit on you, you should be good to go. And then once again, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, 7.62/39 is still a big enough bullet to take down collector if you just so happen to use AP. So good enough to take down the boss. All right. So, if you can do specifically that, then hey, you're pretty good. Good. No issue. You'll have no problems. I love that they did this now because it makes it's so much more inconvenient to 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 pack up his gear, because you have to take it out and then, you know, put all 3 magazines in. I technically don't really need to do this anymore. So what do I think of versus collector with this gun? I think honestly, as long as you don't let him get a shot on you, you are pretty much golden, because the whole thing about 6.8 is that if you get hit by even one at the wrong spot, you're pretty much dead, right? So the ideal technical tactic would be to just not let him get the first hit on you. You can do it in various ways. You can do it by throwing grenades. You can be like me and you just did that. You take him out first, and then you settle the rest of his goons later. And then by in that way you eliminate the biggest threat first, and then the rest will follow suit. So I guess you know, as much as I was being negative just now, what do I have to say now? Well, I still think that other weapons would perform better than this gun, mainly because once again it's kind of been power crept by it being 7.62x39, and once again 51 and 6.8 just being better, right? I guess back in the day, 7.62x39 was one of the more powerful rounds in the game, but that has changed since then. And you know, just ever since you know, the introduction of the FAL or the G3 or any of these other really busted guns, that you would probably fare better with killing. I mean, don't mistake it. I dropped collector really fast back there, but that was mostly because can't even see this guy. But that was mostly because my first shot at him was a headshot, which dropped him instantly, right? And whatever subsequent shots I did just dropped him fast as well. So I mean, if you can once again hit your headshots, but honestly, if you just ran up to the collector and used this as well, you probably fare the exact same, except that thing can be customized. That's one thing about the AK Alpha that's probably like its biggest strength, is that it's really customizable, so you can have pretty much anything you want on it. Although, you know, why would you want to put anything on it other than, you know, the standard one suppressor and suppressor, you know, laser, if you can have it. And the thing about the suppressor is that the laser is that you don't even need to be like me and, you know, dead set. You need to be in the middle. You could, if beggars can be choosers, this will do just fine. Although, as you can see, it looks a little bit weird, and it does mess up my target acquisition a little bit. But then again, it's also not the end of the world. So I don't think we need to obviously test out how this gun would fare against you know, fish cultists, because fish cultists are barely qualify as a boss to begin with, right? So you know, power creep, but still it is a level 5 gun, and it's still really good for what it is, I guess. at that, we just found another drummy. So, at the end of the day, you know, it's still a good gun. It's just that you can get other guns for better. You know, this is basically the Demogorgon of Dead by Daylight, but in Ghost of Tabor. Its power has just been power cracked by other better guns at the same level that it is, and it's not really worth using anymore. Unless, and hear me out, this becomes level 4. If this becomes Spectre level 4, it would see some use. Because I don't think it's that powerful to... I don't think it's powerful anymore to warrant Spectre level 5. But it's also not that weak that it warrants like a Spectre level 3 or 2. But that's my that's my 2 cents anyways. Obviously I can have a take, and you can rightfully disagree with me for, you know, any reason that you can find, but I just find that it may not be such a bad idea to move it to level 4. Alright, I will see you at the outro for real this time. Alright, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Honestly, once again, you know, there are better options out there in Inspector 5. So if you guys like this video, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, sorry, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.